session is specifically based on the contracts, where we will discuss about that how the industries take over the contracts when we talk about the entire contract management process, from the creation to the management, renewals, terminations, etc. So there are in the normal industries, what happens is when we talk about contract, there's a lot of legal formalities are there where the different teams are working, and there are different challenges. Basically, if you don't have any specific or simple ERP system in your workspace, then of course you will be seeing a lot of challenges while handling the contracts. So specifically, we'll just talk about some of the pain points of the contracts, which normally on a global level many of the industries are facing nowadays. And for example, if we talk about the visibility, so the first point is the visibility, which is specifically when we talk about the storage part. When you are handling anything manual, of course you are keeping it in multiple drives, or maybe it could be in multiple locations, or even if it is in central repository like a drive or something, it's very tough to manage and handle that. So this is one of the major pain points, where when we are talking about big companies, right, big industries, big organizations, a lot of cumbersome activities related to this storage need to be carried out with different users based on the contracts. The second part is specifically when we talk about compliance. There are a lot of contracts which expires and users are not aware of it. So obviously, when the user is not aware of it, the supplier can continue giving the materials and all. The client is not having any visibility about the expired contracts, so there is a compliance issue. If something happens, you cannot take up on a legal way, because the contract is already expired and anything which is happening is out of that due course. The next level is the cycle time. Obviously, when we are doing anything manually, there's a lot of paperwork which is involved in that, so it takes a lot of time and a lot of manpower utilization is there. If we talk about the collaboration part, then of course there is collaboration between two different or maybe multiple departments. When we talk about multiple departments, for example, in case of contracts, we have specifically the user department, the legal department, finance department, and the suppliers. So they all are collaborating and editing the contracts. Now, the collaboration may have certain miscommunication, or maybe certain type of data which is missing or been taken away and not been properly reviewed. So those miss points are there when we talk about collaboration. The next is the version control. That's very important when the contract is having some sort of addendums, the contract is having some sort of as an annexures. So of course, when you are creating multiple versions, you have to file it manually as a paperwork, and maybe that could be one of the reasons it could miss out, right? So you don't have a traceability of the versions as an embedded. And then you have audit issues, where you don't have the change logs. If something is changing the contracts, of course it is not being recorded anywhere centralized. So everything is going on manual, or maybe if you have something in an Excel or Word document, it is not feasible at all. Right? Then we talk about specifically the searchability. So when we talk about searchability, of course, when anything which is manual, or maybe which is when anything which you are using on your local drive as well, on the systems without any ERP, then of course the searchability is a very big challenge of that, because the indexing is not proper, and of course there is a probability that the things are getting deleted or missed out. And of course, when we talk about contracts, then we have the amendments, we have different other obligations, we have expirations, terminations. So all those processes are very cumbersome if we are doing it without any help of ERP. So when we talk about Ariba, that how Ariba can help in the contract management, then of course it has probability where we can talk about the central repository system. Everything to anything as a contract which is getting stored in the central repository on a cloud based environment where everything is available centrally. The contracts which are getting created, you can create the contract based on different category of the suppliers, right? So you can create the specified predefined templates in the clause library, and then you can utilize them based out of, you don't have to rush and think about that what I have to include. There are standard templates, you can define them and put them into the system, and then you can utilize them every time based on the type of supplier you are making the contract. For the approval processes, yes, that's one of the major points, that you have to do it everything manually, signing and everything. So the approval processes are there as a workflows in the system. So whenever you are doing any activity like a reviewer or maybe any amendments, right? So all those go through a proper approval process as per the DOPs assigned within the organization. And the provision of digital signatures based on different third-party or your inbuilt solutioning is always there. For example, in Ariba, we are using the maybe Adobe or the DocuSign functionality for the digital signatures. Then you have a real-time collaboration between the different departments, even with the supplier within the same system. So you can send the messages, send the files within the same system, and everything remains on the cloud and the central repository. So you are able to access that from anywhere in the world easily. Then we have the version controls. Of course, when you're creating, or renewing any contract or amending any contract, a new version is getting created automatically in the system. So you don't have to worry about the versions. Whatever version you are creating will be visible at the front end, and rest of the versions will be visible at the back end. So you can access that easily. Then you have the integration, which is the most important part, where whatever contracts you are getting created in SAP Ariba are getting integrated to SAP S4HANA or maybe S4 HANA public cloud. So all those contracts are automatically getting created as a transition in your SAP S4 HANA on-premise, SAP RISE or maybe GROW through Ariba easily. And then search and reporting. Yes, you have a lot of reports which come as a pre-packaged reports in Ariba, which you can easily utilize that, and you can slice and dice different components from those KPIs as a different dimensions and measures. Of course, you will be getting the notifications as in when the contracts are getting expired. So users can assign the notifications based on different timelines, so that based on different contracts, so that they can get a notification and they are aware that when this contract is going to expire, or maybe if it is expired. And yes, because you are using an ERP like Ariba, they have the detailed, it contains a detailed audit log. So whatever transactions you are doing in that, whosoever is doing it, with the timestamp, everything is visible and available inside Ariba. So this is all about Ariba contract management as a theory. Let's see something as a demonstration in the system, exactly how the contract workspace looks like when we talk about the procurement part in Ariba. Okay, so now we will see exactly how this entire thing looks like in system. So this is the main 360 view of SAP Ariba. In this, we have to move to the contracts, where you will find your all contracts. So from here we can search the contracts in the system. So these are all the contracts which are created in the system. You can see who is the owner, then what's the contract ID, who is the supplier, what's the expiration date, and what's the status of it, whether it's in the draft stage or published or maybe expired. Now let's see exactly how the contracts are created. So for this, let's go to the create section and we will select the contract workspace for procurement. In this, first let's give the name. Let's say it's a contract for the fabrication supply. Now there are different fields if you can see over here. In those fields, we have two options as a test project, whether yes or no. So when we say no, that means you are actually creating a contract with all the things and it cannot be deleted in the system. When it is a test project, so that means that you have created it, right? You have not published it, but you can also delete it if you want. So we are just taking it no as a time. You can have your default base language. Then we are creating, a master agreement. We have standalone and sub agreement as well. So we'll select one supplier. So the supplier is selected. We will publish the amount. For example, let's take this amount as an ETB. ETB is the current currency for this country. We will take a commodity for which we are making this. So let's take fabrication. Okay, so let's take this one. We'll select the region. So let's take the region. We have an option as a department. We'll take general services. Let's take it procurement. In the agreement date, this is a date on which you are creating the agreement. So here you are creating it now. The term type is fixed and perpetual and auto renew. So we are taking as fixed as of now. We will put an effective date, that from which date this contract will be effective, and the expiration date. So let's take this as an expiration date for this contract. Now the system will ask you based on that how much notice period you actually want in number of days. So we want that 30 days notice period should be given before the renewal of this contract. Now we'll select the data which is pertaining to the external system integration. That means that the system will send this data to S/4HANA when we are talking about external system integration. So we have to select the company code and all other details. Select the payment terms, document type as contract, and document category as maybe we can take as value contract. So in this we are creating contract directly as a manual, but as we have already seen in previous sessions as a sourcing part as well, that we can create a sourcing. When we are going to award a supplier, we can also create this contract directly from the sourcing also. So we can select that contract, create contract for the supplier, and system will take us onto this screen with the initial data. So now we can select. So these all part are basically we can easily categorize into the system as per our requirement. So based on different type of industries, we have taken this. Okay, so once all this is created, the system has been aligned to use this template. So if you see this is a radio button. Okay, so this is the name of the template which we have configured as per the client's requirement, and this particular part is actually used as a template in the system. So based out of these header fields on the line item details, we can configure this template, and everything will be available inside according to the created template. So now this template header details are, you can see, are available. System has generated one ID as a contract ID, which is a contract number for Ariba. Once you will send it to the external system as in SAP S/4HANA or Cloud or RISE, the system will create a different number based on what type of number ranges you have already aligned. The contract state is as a draft stage right now, and this is our original version. So now these are all the other details about the external system. Whatever we have actually captured outside, you can see it inside. Now we will see that there are different folders which are created, and you can assign your documents inside these folders specifically. There are different tasks. So these tasks are basically list of activities which are being carried out by the company, by the departments while taking out the entire contract management as an amendment. So if you can see, we have the contract preparation, then review, then finalization, and the publishing of the contract. That means we are finally signing it and sending it to the supplier and keeping one copy to ourselves. Then after that, these are contract management if you want to amend anything. So all the activities are mentioned under this. Okay, so if you can see, you can create the entire level of hierarchy of the activities as per the requirement, including all sort of workflows and the digital signature part. So if you can see here, the supplier and bank side signature. So if you will use this particular functionality, it will take us to the DocuSign page, and the DocuSign will give us the functionality where we can put the signatures as a digital signature and send it to the supplier and the different departments for the final signatures. So these are some of the functionalities, and you can always go ahead and amend these activities as per your requirements. So these are completely templatized activities, and we can create these activities as per the requirement of client. We can assign different team members as groups. Under these groups, we can assign different users. So for example, if I have someone as a contract negotiation, so for the contract negotiation, we can assign group of people who can do this activity. Similarly, if someone is a director or maybe someone from the contract review legal team, we can assign the name of the person who can use it, who can do the activities inside the contract for this entire thing. Then we have the history. So whatever activities which are happening over here as a log with the date and the timestamp will be captured under this particular part as a audit log. So you can easily see that what all different activities have happened, what all values you have created, what all time or date this has been done by whom. Everything to anything is getting captured inside this activity. So over here, you can also see that how many tasks are incomplete. Task means the list of activities which are incomplete. So as and when you are proceeding towards this, you can mark this as started, and after this is done, you can mark this as completed. So based on this, likewise, you can do all sort of activities. So whatever activities are being considered as a milestone, thus this milestone part can be placed over here as a part of configuration, so that the user knows that what all milestones are being crossed or which milestone is now pending, right? So from here you can see the status as well. So you can see that how many tasks are completed, how many are required or optional, and who is the owner of this task. So in this task activity also, you can assign the owner exactly that this task is being taken up by whom. Okay, you can assign the observers names as well, that who is the observer of this activity and who is the owner of this activity. So other person will not be able to do that. So this is a part where the controlling comes into place, that the other person is not able to do the activity. The only person who is actually included in this owner section will be able to do this activity for the contract. So whether this task is required or not, so this can be configured under the configuration part. And what are the predecessors? That means this particular task need to be completed once this predecessor task is completed. So this is a dependent task. So likewise, all these activities can be easily configured into the system. This is a very flexible system, and a lot of different template solution can be easily acquired by SAP Ariba for the contract. So this is some of the part where we have seen some of the basic functionality, because if we'll see the entire functionality, we can come up with some other detailed video when we can have these functionalities into more details as a part of configuration. So that's all for today. Thank you very much for your time.